it's a bit of a strange story because I'm from Denmark, which is not historically a great Formula One nation. And when I grew up in the 70s, Formula One was not really anything big in Denmark. But my parents had a garage in my hometown, so maybe there was a little bit of a sort of a car connection there. But I was attracted to the sport from a very early age, 10, 12 years maybe. And then I convinced my dad to take me to the Swedish Grand Prix in Anderstorp in '74 when I was 12 years old. I decided then, 12 years old, that I wanted to work in Formula One somehow. I started as a professional journalist in 1982. So since then, I've interviewed and met all the big names like Ayrton Senna and Michael Schumacher and Lewis Hamilton today, Sebastian Vettel, Fernando Alonso, all the big names. But I've also been very lucky to meet some of the drivers from before I started in the business, some of the old drivers from the 50s and the 60s, the early 80s when I started out. I mean, I was young and impressionable, so it was easy to be very impressed by everything in Formula One. So the early 80s. Also, the cars at that time were some incredible machinery, probably some of the most powerful engines ever in Formula One. And the cars were still fairly basic, so they had a lot of horsepower, but not a lot of grip. So that made them spectacular also from a photography point of view. In the old days, and as you can hear and you can see from the book, I'm very keen on the history of Formula One. When Formula One started, the first championship in 1950 had 6 rounds in Europe. Today we have 23. Next year we'll probably have 24 or 25 races all over the world. And because I like the history, my favorite circuits today are the circuits which was included in the championship in the 50s. That means Monza in Italy and Silverstone in Great Britain. It's fascinating. It's interesting to me to go to Monza, for example, take pictures in the same corner where my heroes of the 50s drove almost 75 years ago. Today, we are, for obvious reasons, safety and so on, we are usually positioned quite far from the actual racetrack with long lenses, tele lenses, and so on. But in those days, in the 50s and the early 60s, the photographers were incredibly brave as the drivers probably. They were positioning themselves almost next to the track, and there was no barriers at that time, and the lenses they used in the equipment they used was fairly basic. So I'm amazed when I find some old negative how great photography it actually is. Once you have repaired them and taken them through Photoshop, there are some amazing work from my old colleagues. I'm doing a lot of scanning at the moment for another book project of pictures from the 50s, and the cars in those days were so simple, and that one team maybe consisted of, say, 5, 6, maybe 10 people. It was a big team, and these days, the Formula One team has 1,000 employees and take at least 100 people to each race, and then the cars are incredibly advanced and high tech. So there's really no comparison. But it's fascinating that it is Formula One today, and it was Formula One back then, even though it has changed a lot. There are a few. One of them is the 2014 Australian Grand Prix for almost nationalistic reasons, because that was the race when my Danish compatriot Kevin Magnussen made his debut and finished in second place, which was sensational. You never see a rookie finish on the podium, but Kevin did that that day, and that was obviously a big day for us. A book to the same format about Ferrari and Formula One, and hopefully this will come out in the States in the English edition also. And just a few months ago, we published this one about Mercedes and Formula One, and this is sort of the trilogy of 3 great big Formula One books. Another project we just started is about Formula One circuits. I have to for a book I will pick my favorite 20 circuits and make a book about that. So there's still a lot of things happening, and it's great for me as a writer. It's interesting to do this, and it's a fabulous way to show the depth of my archive with the pictures.